Just walked up on one of the most challenging yards I'm gonna have to deal with in my lawn care business. I wanna tell you about it in this video, talk to you about my strategy on how to take care of the weeds in a very difficult situation. Today's video is sponsored by Gram Spray Equipment. You see my Gram Spray rig behind me, 400-gallon split tank, been served me well for years. I'm gonna be using it in this video. Let's get started. So one of the things I do, being the local weed control and fertilization guys, I have relationships with some of the guys that mow grass, and they send me referrals. They say, hey, you know, I'm mowing the grass here at this yard. Can you do the weed control and fertilization? So this was in a neighborhood that I have some yards in, and I was expecting a Bermuda grass yard, which is what probably 95% of these yards are Bermuda grass. And I measured online and went and came and looked at it, and it caught me for a surprise. So I'm going to show you the yard, show you what we're dealing with, and I want to talk to you about my approach on how I'm going to handle this yard. Multiple problems I'm going to be dealing with on this yard. So first thing first is I showed up here for the first time to look at the yard. First thing is we have a newly sodded front yard. Emerald Zoysia. Actually, I say newly sodded. It was sodded about 5 months ago in the fall. It's now late winter, the time that a lot of people around here are spraying pre and post emergent applications on the yard. But I don't feel comfortable doing that on this Zoysia yard that you can still clearly see the seams in the sod. Now, it's got weeds popping up, okay? The thing I did here was to have a detailed, little bit lengthy conversation with the customer to explain to them what I could do and what I could not do today on this lawn care service. So feeling good about this long term. We've got the Zoysia, it needs time to root. Encourage the customer to make sure to water this summer to make sure it gets well rooted, but I'm not going to be spraying a pre and post emergent combination on this front yard. Now, as I walk around the corner here, you know, on this side of the house, it's a little shaded, but you got Bermuda here. Bermuda in a shaded side of the house that is very thin because Bermuda does not like shade. Now, you know, I had to do over again and everything was free. Maybe we bring this Emerald Zoysia all the way over here and it would do much better than Bermuda. I'm not sure if it would get enough sunlight to do great. I think it would, just because the Bermuda is not doing horrible. But anyway, so we got Bermuda here. We've got Emerald Zoysia here, freshly laid, and the homeowner has not been living here that long, so I'm not blaming them for all the situations we've got going on. Then, as we move over here on this side of the house, you think, can it get any crazier? Well, actually it can. Here we've got what looks to me to be like a Myers Zoysia or a Z52 Zoysia. A different type of Zoysia. You can see it's got some green in it. It hasn't been here that long, but it is rooted and well established on this side. Okay, so you got Bermuda on the other side of the house. You got Emerald Zoysia newly sodded. You got Z52 Zoysia. That's what I'm gonna call it at least. Moving here, it's got weeds all in it. And then what happens is you get right here into the backyard, you got more Emerald Zoysia that's fairly freshly laid, though it looks like it's been laid longer than the other. And then, when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, you get in the backyard. I remind you, it's a tiny yard. You get in the backyard, you got what? Centipede. I've got centipede grass. And then I go further back, I've got some scraggly Bermuda grass with a shade tree. And then, when you thought it just couldn't get any crazier, I go over here and there's one patch by the corner where I've got St. Augustine. So to recap on this small yard, I've got Bermuda, Emerald Zoysia, Z52 Zoysia, Centipede, and St. Augustine all in the same yard. What is a lawn care professional to do? Well, one thing you could do is say, I'm not interested in doing this yard. You got 5 grass types in a small yard. This is going to be a real pain. I chose not to take that approach. I chose to take this as a little bit of a challenge for me. And I want to talk to you about what I'm going to do today and maybe what I'm going to do a little bit in the future. And this, I think, can be a yard that we can track throughout the summer and see if we can get this thing shaped up. Now, situations like this where having a split tank does come in handy, because I usually keep one side mixed up for Bermuda and Zoysia lawns, another side mixed up for for centipede and St. Augustine lawns, or a lot of times that's what I do this time of year. And what I want to do, I'll take the side I've got mixed up for Bermuda and Zoysia yards, and which has prodiamine in it, which is my pre-emergent application. It also has post-emergent called triplet, which is a three-way herbicide. It's going to take care of all the broadleaf weeds. What I don't want to do is spray this, okay? I'm going to spray the Bermuda. It's over on that shady side of the house, even though it's going to be thin and not look good probably ever until put Zoysia. I can also spray this Zoysia that's on this side of the house because it's fine, it's rooted, and those products are safe for this. It'll take care of a lot of these weeds, a lot of the clover. I may come in here with some change up or something and spot treat as well. This I just don't know. Okay, I probably will spray this because this looks a lot more established than that in the front yard. And then you got the centipede back here. What I don't want to do is to use some products that could affect the centipede in a negative way. So I'm going to go real easy on the centipede and probably just spot treat some weeds with a product like Change Up. But the areas that are Bermuda back here, I do want to spray those and see if we can get rid of a lot of the weeds, and then hopefully over the summer we can get this Bermuda grass to fill in, because there is Bermuda grass here. You know, it's not impressive, not great. It doesn't take a lot, and this yard probably was sodded once upon a time. I can see a little patch of Bermuda over here. So this is what I'm looking for in a yard like this. Is there enough Bermuda that this summer, if I can get the weeds under control, that I can get this Bermuda to take off and spread? And I think there is. So what weeds are we seeing in the yard today? A lot of these are common cool season weeds. You got henbit right here that soon will be having a purple flower all over it. The triplet should do a great job of taking care of that. This little flat weed right here is called cudweed. Should be able to knock it out as well. You got some Carolina geranium or wild geranium maybe. Got some clover, a lot of clover here. Looks like maybe a dandelion. I imagine there will be lots of dandelions in this yard. But the good news is she contacted me in time where I'm out here early February. I've got time to get the pre-emergent down on this Bermuda grass that was probably covered in crabgrass last year. So I think with this prodiamine application, I'm gonna get the crabgrass under control. I'm gonna knock out a lot of the weeds, broadleaf weeds, with the post-emergent application, and I think this yard is gonna look a lot better. So let's get started with the actual work. I got a lot of wild onions, wild garlic type stuff, even some chickweed right there. The wild onions, I'll probably use blindside on those. And there's a dandelion. It's actually blooming. People ask sometimes about leaves in the yard. I'm not worried about the leaves. I need the herbicide to get watered in, washed down underneath the leaves. So that's not a big concern of mine. Huge patch of clover right here. I got the yard sprayed as far as the blanket application. I want to now go through and maybe do a little spot treating on some specialty weeds like the onions or wild garlic and some of the weeds that are in the centipede grass. Probably going to use Change Up for that. I mentioned several products. Let me show them to you. What I had in the big tank is this product here called Triplet. It has 2,4-D in it, and then also Resolute. This is the active ingredient prodiamine. So this is my pre-emergent, this is my post-emergent. Talked about spot treating with blindside. It's going to be great for a lot of weeds, broadleaf weeds, but in particular in this situation, going after the onions and wild garlic. And then Change Up, another product that's great for broadleaf weeds. I like to keep those in little 2-gallon handheld sprayers or a backpack sprayer. In this situation, I'll be using this battery-powered handheld pump sprayer. I guess you don't pump the battery one, and then the other one's not battery. I will pump that one. So blindside one, change up in the other, and hitting some of the weeds. You got to be careful spraying centipede yards during spring transition. A lot of grass types, but particularly centipede for our warm season grasses. But I think I'm early enough now where things are mostly dormant. I hopefully won't have any delayed green up by using a little bit of change up on some of the centipede grass. I've got everything done, and I think this yard is going to look so much better come summertime that we want to keep tracking it. But just wanted to give you my perspective on dealing with a yard with 5 types of grasses in the same yard. If you were a lawn care professional and you come on a yard like this, my initial advice would be just don't take it on as a customer. It's probably more trouble than it's worth. But I decided to take this one on. You see how my approach was. Do what you can do. Don't be too risky. Talk to the customer, explain to them the situation, and just do the best you can with what you got. You know, I'm not gonna go out here and just blanket spray some newly laid Zoysia sod. May mean crabgrass this summer, but I doubt it'll be that much in a Zoysia lawn. I think eventually I picture this yard with a beautiful emerald Zoysia front yard, a backyard that's much improved with multiple grass types in it. But I think in this situation, if you explain to the customer and explain to you guys, and you see the progress, by the summer it won't be a perfect yard, but I think it's going to be much improved, and the customer says, wow, it looks so much better, thank you. And they're not going to look for perfection. If they do, I'm afraid they won't be getting it on this yard. Because another thing I was going to say too is, like, you think, how does a yard end up like this? Well, it's like maybe you had a bare spot by the, and they read online that St. Augustine is pretty good for shady areas, so they stick a piece of St. Augustine sod there and it spreads, and they had another bare spot and they stuck some centipede. Over time it just spreads, and now you got 5 grass types in one yard that's not that big. So it's crazy, but I hope the video has been helpful for you. If you hadn't signed up for the 2024 Lawn Care Life Conference, it's February 23rd, 24th. Of 2024, go to lawncarelife.com, click on the conference link at the top of the page, and use the discount code 2024. It'll save you 10%. Or if you register more than one person, you're going to save an additional 10%. So if you save it up for 2 people, I make it take 10% off. Use the code 2024. Just the numbers, that'll save you another 10%. All the details, registration at lawncarelife.com. Thanks for watching. Hope the video's been helpful. We'll see you next time.